Things just got worse and worse and worse as the night went on. Again, valiant effort down the stretch for the Bucs. Just too little, too late. Let's go down and let's see what Coach Fletch and the rest of the crew has to say. And as always, go Bulls. So let's head into the locker room right now and see what the guys have to say about that one. Wow. Where do the Buccaneers go from here? What an incredible atmosphere. What a good win for the Tampa Bay Lightning. They snapped a 7-game winning streak. How we feeling, Bucs Nation? It's time to party, baby.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Recher podcast. Happy September 26, 2025. You know, it's so funny. There's been so many times doing this podcast over the last 9 months or so where I forget the date. And I just realized 3 or 4 days ago that the date is literally right above the screen. It's literally right above me. So I should never be able to forget. Sometimes I'll be like, oh, I have to check my phone. It's so weird. Sometimes the easiest things are right in front of your face. Happy Friday, everybody. It's a football Friday. Welcome to the program today. No guests. We're guest free today. I'm not just going to have a guest on just to have a guest on. I mean, we're going to start really having some big-time guests when it comes to hockey season as well. We know how the football gets here on the program. And did you listen? Did you watch our very new segment yesterday at 12:30, our Evra Health injury report with our guy, Dr. Rodriguez? The feedback that we've gotten from that segment already has been through the roof. Amazing. Dr. Rodriguez, one of the nicest men I've ever met. I've never even met him in person. Just been on a phone call and then the interview yesterday. I love that freaking guy already. And so many people have reached out. If you missed it, it's going to be every Thursday at 12:30. So it's up on the channel now. It's all over my social media. Evra Health, they're one of our main sponsors here on the program, one of our partners, everhealth.org. Go check it out. But wow, what a tremendous response yesterday from that segment with Dr. Rodriguez. Hopefully that's helping you out with your fantasy football, with your gambling. Didn't help me out for anything when it came to baseball. I didn't ask him any baseball stuff. I really should have. But wow, what a tremendous segment. He's going to join me, or any doctor, but it's usually going to be Dr. Rodriguez joining us Thursday at 12:30 here on the program. Such a great time. We want to thank them. And of course, we want to thank my good pal Russ and the Honest Hammer Custom Builders, 813-244-0956. Unbelievable partners. They've been with us from the beginning. And these are just the kind of people that we want to join up with. I mean, you look at Honest Hammer and going out to the job site. I've told you so many times about Russ, and just such a great guy, such a down-to-earth dude. He's a Tampa Bay fan just like you. These are the kind of people you want to work with, and Evra Health is cut from that same cloth. I'm not just going to partner up with anybody. It's not going to do it. You have to have a certain set of values and we have to match, right? Our vibes have to match. And I'm just so glad that Evra joined us here on the program. And of course, so grateful for Russ and Honest Hammer and all of you out there, man. I couldn't do this without you guys, including our pal David Terry with the $10 super chat. DT, always here, always supporting. If you guys want to contribute via the super chat, every little bit helps, man. $1, $2, $5, $10, $20, whatever you can do. Every little bit helps. I mentioned this the other day. The super chat was the highest it's ever been from August 21st to September 21st. And I see that, and that kind of stuff doesn't make me feel complacent or set. It makes me feel like I just want to keep pushing and keep doing a great show for you guys. But man, I'm so grateful for that. Benny, you're first. I got to give you that love. And DT, thank you again, my friend. Happy Friday, everyone. Janet Best, she's always in here. We love you, Janice. Connor's music company, did the Panthers make the playoffs? Connor, you got to be a little bit more specific. We talking Florida? We're talking Carolina. Robert's in the house from OKC. What up, Jay? Sad there's no USF football this weekend. Yes, it is a Freedom High baseball shirt. I'm wearing my Freedom High here, red, white, and blue, Team USA in the Ryder Cup. We'll talk a little bit about that later on. But as a former assistant coach over at Freedom High School, and now their head coach was a former player of mine, Dane Moore, always rocking the FP, supporting Freedom Baseball. Their hat's back there, too. Where is it? Their hat's back here somewhere, too. I got it. I'll pick it up. I'm wearing the shirt today. But of course, we got UT and Jesuit and Tampa Catholic and USF. We got Steinbrenner back there as well. Always supporting our teams here in the Tampa Bay area. But much love to the Freedom Patriots. That is for sure. David Velasquez in the house. If there's news in the Tampa Bay area and it's happening during the show, I trust David Velasquez. Usually, I'm going to check it every single time because that's the right thing to do. But if David Velasquez says something is happening between 12 and 2, I'm pretty sure there's like a 95% chance that it's right. And that number is a lot lower for a lot of other people. So, Dave, I always appreciate you. Karen Clemente, wow, tons of hockey news. Hagel and Schmidt fight in practice. Barkov having knee surgery today. I mean, my goodness. It is just wild to think Sasha Barkov, one of the greatest players in the game, one of my favorite players. It's wild, man. It is crazy. So, yeah, you never want to see that for anybody. You know, it could miss the entire season. He'll probably miss most of the season. He could come back, right? But he's undergoing knee surgery today, and this is just coming out about 5 minutes ago. Panthers coach Paul Maurice tells reporters on Fridays that the Star Center was sent for surgery after undergoing knee surgery after being injured on the first full day of training camp practice on Thursday. You know, as much as like our rivalry with the Panthers, and it's tough. Listen, one of the toughest things, I got to be honest with you guys, to go cover this Lightning team on the road and to go down there, and they're not afraid to talk shit to the Lightning because, you know, they were kind of eating some of that crow early on. But I hope nobody out there wishes that on Sasha Barkov, because out of all the players that could be a pain in the ass, out of all the players that you could hate, he's one of those, it's like impossible to hate that guy. He's such a solid player. He always comes through for them, and he never has a bad thing to say about John Cooper and the Lightning and Kucherov, and he has all the respect in the world for the Bolts. It just sucks. You know, you want to beat them at their best. It's going to be tough, but if any team can do it, it's going to be the Florida Panthers. You know, open some salary cap space, so we know that they're not afraid to make moves at the deadline. So we'll see. I'm definitely not writing off the champs. Will it be tough for them to win the division? Probably, because now guys are slotted in different roles, but do I think they miss the playoffs? No, I don't think so. I think they find a way. They have too many good players around him. Happy Friday, Jay, and everyone. Those Arizona Cardinals uniforms were ugly. Listen, you know what everybody was saying about the uniforms? Here's exactly what that was. What that was is plain white jerseys got mixed in with your red socks. And one red sock got mixed in with your uniforms, and that's what happened. It was only one sock. It wasn't enough to turn them pink, but it was just enough to kind of take the white out of it a little bit. Yeah, so it's just pretty wild. You're all good, Connor. Florida Panthers. That's why once we were talking about the Barkov injury. That's why I think Florida still makes the playoffs. I still do. They're that good. And you think about all the other players. Listen, Sasha's such a huge part of their team, but with Bennett and Reinhart, right? Bennett's such a great 2-8 forward. They were able to bring him back. Arguably the best second center. He's going to have to be asked to do a lot. Reinhart, 50-goal scorer. Kachuk's injured, right? But he's going to come back at some point. You brought Marchand back. You got all the guys in the bottom six that not a lot of people talk about, but we understood how important they were to the Lightning's run, those bottom six guys. Same thing with the Panthers. And then the blue line, right? They know exactly. They got Seth Jones. They got Aaron Ekblad. They got Gustav Forsling. They have Sergei Bobrovsky in net. They still got a lot of pieces, man. It's going to be tough. But just like what good teams do, you got to try to tread water until your big boys get back. I didn't know you were a Freedom alum, Robert. That's awesome, man. What year did you graduate? Maybe you were there when I was coaching. Nathan Elliott in the house. Hello, Tampa Bay J. Recher. Hello, J. Recher watchers. Nancy Carroll, always love seeing the USF KC hat right behind you. You got that right. Right here. This means the world to me, Nancy Carroll. We love you guys. We love the Carrolls. We love USF. Always. This is right by my side. I've only worn this hat once, Nance, because I just there's certain things that I have that I can't wear. There's certain things I have that I can't wear. I have to it feels weird. I don't want to mess it up. I don't want a bird to poop on it. I don't want to forget it somewhere. I don't want to have a dirty hand where sometimes it's just I like to put it up and I like to show it off. So love you, Nancy, Keith, everybody over there. You guys are the greatest. Hello to all the degenerates out there. I stay on it, bro. Thanks, Tampa Bay Sports mean everything to me. You got that right, pal. My one sick buddy said it looked like Red Dead. Oh, come on. Harrison Jr. plays like that. They can wear them every week. Listen, how many people on the show this week asked me about Marvin Harrison Jr.? And I told you, if you guys are paying attention, and I'm sure you were, that because of what we've seen from him so far, it's tough to put him over other guys. And you saw some of the plights of what his issues have been, right? Like the cutting off the route led to the interception, the bobbling the ball that led to another interception. But then you saw some of the good there at the end of the game. So it's kind of tough, right? You take the good with the bad. The kid is lacking confidence right now. And it's kind of tough with Arizona. I don't know about you guys, but watching that game last night, you're looking at both those teams and you say, neither one of these teams are going to make the Super Bowl, right? They're okay. I think Seattle's a better team than Arizona. I don't like the offense with Kyler Murray. You have 6 points going in deep into the fourth quarter. You're at home. And Seattle's defense is good, don't get me wrong, but it's just like Kyler, man. He just always has to throw the ball on the run. And there was one pass, I think it was in the second quarter. He's rolling out to his right. Okay, he's throwing the ball, and then it's a short throw. Like, dude, if you're going to be that guy, if you're going to throw the ball on the run, like, you got to be accurate then. It's weird, man. It's weird. Karen, to lose a captain is tough. You got that right. Panthers would be in position to three-peat. Yeah, we'll see. Love you, Nance Roberts, 2018. Okay, I was there in 2009. Carlos in the house. What's up, Jay? Love the show. Keep up the great work. Let's see. If Arizona had won last night, more people would have liked it. Yeah, maybe. Janet worked out for her. Had no choice to play him, but thankfully he got a TD. I set Marvin Harrison Jr., but I have Debo, Chase, and Emeka going in. Okay. Or you sat him. Okay. All right. Good stuff there. All right, updates from the Avon Health Training Center at One Buccaneer Place. So, good news for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield back throwing again. So, dealing with a little bit of a back in or a biceps injury. Okay, so listen, we've had so many things. We've had so many discussions when it comes to injuries and this and that and all these different things, right? We've been waiting for a Thursday and a Friday with some good news. Well, we've got a lot of good news for you guys today on the hockey front and also on the baseball front. On the football front. Baker Mayfield again back throwing again today, which is good. Logan Hall also back practicing today. We spoke about this with Dr. Rodriguez yesterday with the groin injury. It's tough, man. You never know. Like, you just have to incrementally work a little more. But for him to be out there with the team, that is great. And, possibility that he could be back in there on Sunday. You're going to need as much help on the defensive line, especially with Kalijah Kancey out. Still no Christian Izzy, and so my guess is he's out of there. But the two big names that we've been waiting to hear, what are we going to see from practice on Friday? Well, Chris Godwin and Tristan Wirfs, both back practicing today with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Chris Godwin was off yesterday. For what we were hearing, nothing to be alarmed about. It was just kind of a standard, like they were going to probably take it easy with him in his final week of practice leading up to his first game. All signs point to Chris Godwin and Tristan Wirfs being in there on Sunday against the Philadelphia Eagles in a matchup of two 3-0 teams here in the NFC. I cannot wait for this game on Sunday. Tristan, left tackle, lock it in, whole game. I think that's what we're looking at for Tristan. Chris Godwin, a little bit of a pitch count. If you remember the chat that we had on Wednesday with Josh Capo from Pewter Report, I don't think he's in there and he's playing, 78% of the snaps. I think you're going to be very careful with Chris. I think you put him in there on the downs that, like third down, right? When you need to play maybe in the red zone, like you want him there. Emeka Egbuka out there, Sterling Shepard out there, get some Ryan Miller, get some Tez Johnson, run the football. But having Chris Godwin and Tristan Wirfs, like, it just makes you feel so much better as a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan going into this game on Sunday. What are your score predictions for Sunday? If Karen is asking, you guys got to answer. Your score predictions for Sunday, Buccaneers, Eagles, 1 p.m. at Raymond James Stadium. I will not be in the building for that one. I'll actually be on the baseball field early in the morning, and then I'll head over to the Dignitary Cafe to watch the game. So if you guys want to come out and you want to check it out, come on, 4817 Southwest Shore Boulevard. Come watch the game with us at the Dignitary Cafe. Again, 4817 Southwest Shore Boulevard with Ian Beckles and the crew. I'll be there after my baseball stuff on Sunday morning. I actually got some venison too. Some venison from a buddy of mine. So we're going to be eating good. We always eat well over there. And if Ian's cooking it, it's probably going to be pretty damn good. Ian's one of those guys where if you've never, like, let's say you try something that you've never had before, and you're like, I don't know if I like this. Well, if Ian cooks it, it's pretty damn good. Get the big green egg in the back. It's a blast. We have such a good time. And you never know who's going to walk in. I heard Warren Sapp was there last week, just showed up on Sunday morning before. He showed up Sunday morning beforehand. And we found out that the Glazers sent the private plane to pick up Warren from Colorado so that he could be there after a late game Sunday night. Isn't that cool? We were talking about this because what happened was I was going to go down. It was me. I think it was Ira Kaufman. Nick Puglisi was there. Catherine Smith, Corey Long. We're sitting there eating. And at 12 o'clock before the 1 o'clock game, they had like a Legends thing downstairs where it was Hardy Nickerson and Derek Brooks and Warren Sapp. And who was the other guy that was there? Oh, Rondé, of course. Rondé, right? Yeah, Rondé. And we were going to go down, the elevator broke. So you had to walk all the way down, and I wasn't going to be able to get back up in time. So a couple of people went down there, and they were like, I don't think Sapp's going to be there because he was late. He was there in Colorado that night or the night before. Sure as hell. There's Warren Sapp. He's there. The private jet went to go get him. And that's so cool to hear that they went above and beyond to bring Warren across the country to be able to get there. I'm sure they brought him home too, right? Like you would, right? I mean, you would think maybe, who knows? I got to find that one out. That's a good question. But we were saying, no way Warren's there. And then Warren was there. And then come to find out from our good buddy Ian that they sent the private plane to him or the private jet to go pick him up from Colorado late at night and to bring him here to the Tampa Bay area. That's pretty damn cool. David Terry, $21-20 winning the last minute again. It's hard to think that this isn't going to come down to the end when we've seen 3 fourth-quarter comebacks from the Buccaneers so far. Nathan Elliott, Bucks 24, Eagles 21. Get your score predictions in now. If you have any fantasy football questions, get them in now. We will answer them throughout the show. And, of course, I will always want to hear from you guys. Questions, comments, concerns. Put it all there at the bottom of the screen if you want to get in on the conversation. The link is right there in the chat. StreamYard.com/VPTKCJAY9P right there. Get in on the conversation, whether you're on your phone, whether you're on the laptop. Feel free to join us here on the Jay Recher podcast. Follow me on all social media platforms at Jay Recher, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram. Like and subscribe on YouTube as well. Later on the show, we're going to talk about the Ryder Cup. We'll talk about the college football matchups that intrigue me. Also, what Todd Bowles had to say. He's speaking in about 5 minutes. And then also, if it's not Bucks and Eagles, what is the greatest NFL matchup this weekend? As we're really getting into the nitty-gritty of everything that's going on. The Cardinals and the Seahawks kick it off last night with Seattle winning on the road. Big win for them. Sam Darnold, man, I tell you what, what he was able to do with Kevin O'Connell in Minnesota, you see they've taken a lot of the same concepts. That's smart. They've taken a lot of the same concepts which worked for him in Minnesota to Seattle, and to use all the different players that they have with Cooper Kupp and JSN on the outside, and knowing that you have a really nice two-headed monster at the running back position with Charbonnet and Kenny Walker. I really like how they go about their business, and they're not trying to have him do too much. He's staying within himself and short passes, right? Running the football, play action. I like that. It's making a lot of sense for Seattle. Now, is that going to help them be able to beat some of the top-tier teams in the NFC? It's going to be a grind. It's going to be a grind because you have to be patient and you can't make mistakes because they have a really good secondary with Witherspoon and Woolen and those guys and Kobe Bryant back there and Leonard Williams still doing his thing. They are a tough-nosed team. And, Coach has them locked in the right spot. And coming from Baltimore and what he's been able to do, bringing that over, that hard-nosed approach, you wonder, if you come on over and after all those years with Pete Carroll, what was Mike Macdonald going to be? It was a long time with Pete, 14 years. Mike Macdonald last year, you're kind of getting your feet wet. Geno Smith. Now you have Sam Darnold. You're locking in your defense, and they are swarming around, looking a lot like that Baltimore Ravens defense there in Seattle. I mean, it just makes they're another fly in the ointment. I don't think they're going to be able to go all the way because I think there's other teams out there that are better, but they're going to be tough. They're going to be a tough out for anybody. All right. Some good news on the football side. Tristan Wirfs and Chris Godwin, they will be, it looks like all signs are trending towards them playing on Sunday against the Eagles. And unfortunately for the Florida Panthers, we just found out that Alexander Barkov could be lost for the season. He was injured in practice. But when it comes to the Tampa Bay Lightning, if you've been listening to the show, one of the things that I've been saying, and people have asked, are you worried about the whole situation with Andrei Vasilevskiy? I said I was slightly concerned, but there was kind of a date that was kind of all right, this is where I'm drawing the line in the sand. Does anybody remember when that date was? Monday. Monday was the day. I said if we still don't hear anything by the weekend, I think there'll be cause for concern. If we don't see him on the ice this weekend, the date I'm looking for is Monday. If he's on the ice Monday, we're good. He'll be ready for opening night. If he's not on the ice on Monday, I think we have cause for concern that he will not be out there for the first game against the Ottawa Senators in a couple of Thursdays. But we heard from John Cooper yesterday. I'm not taking credit for it that he was listening to the podcast or not, but we can't say that he wasn't. But after missing time yesterday, not being out there again, Andrei Vasilevskiy, according to John Cooper, will be out there on Monday on the ice with his team, and he will be ready for opening night, October 9th, there at the Benchmark International Arena, the bench against the Ottawa Senators for opening night. So we feel so much better about Andrei Vasilevskiy and this team. Like now, regardless of looking at everything that has happened and transpired in the last couple of months for the Florida Panthers, you don't wish injuries on anybody, but they are a part of the game. And these kind of things open the door for other teams to kind of step in and step up. And I think that's where we're at right now with the Lightning and maybe Toronto, right? Dealing with the change in their personnel with Mitch Marner going to Vegas. But could this also open the door for some other teams to be able to step in? Detroit and Ottawa, right? Boston, right? Nobody's looking highly on them because they're kind of a little bit of in a rebuild. But Buffalo, could this be their year? But I think this injury really does open up the door for the Tampa Bay Lightning to win the division. You never want to see people get injured. But this is an opportunity for the Lightning to start the season fast and to be able to go and not have to face one of these teams in the first round, right? I mean, it sucks. Like, again, nobody wishes injuries. I hope nobody out there is wishing an injury on anybody. And it's such a terrible thing what happened to Sasha Barkov, one of the best two-way forwards in the game. Barkov is one of my favorite players to watch, and he has been such an instrumental part to the Florida Panthers winning back-to-back Stanley Cups. You don't wish harm or injury on anybody, but kind of the fact of the matter is that this opens the door for the Tampa Bay Lightning to win the division here in the 2025-2026 season. Now, do I think Florida's going to miss the playoffs altogether? No, I don't. I think they have enough pieces there to be able to make the playoffs. And once you get in, it really is anybody's ballgame. There's way too many players and champions on that team for them to just wilt it and just kind of disappear this upcoming season, led by their head coach, Paul Maurice, one of the best in the game. But this does open the door for the Tampa Bay Lightning, and especially with the good news that Andrei Vasilevskiy will be back on the ice on Monday, and he should be ready for opening night. This is an opportunity for the Bolts to start the season strong and to try to secure that number one seed in the Atlantic Division. We've spoken so much over the last couple of years about if they would have won that first round matchup, how far could they have gone? Losing to the eventual Stanley Cup champions the last couple of seasons with the Panthers. Well, a way to avoid facing a Toronto or a Florida in the first round is to win the division. And it's something that they haven't done in the last couple of years. So the goal for the Tampa Bay Lightning has to be first and foremost to win the division. Win the division, avoid that tough first round playoff matchup with a division rival. Get you a series against a wild card team. Get some momentum, get your feet wet in the postseason, and then see if you can go on another lengthy postseason run. You have all the tools, led by Andrei Vasilevsky, Victor Hedman, Nikita Kucherov, and company. The Bolts need to be ready to take advantage of not only Barkov being out, but Tkachuk being out. Two of the best players in the game. And again, not wishing any type of injury or ill will towards any of those players, but the Lightning have to make the most of this opportunity. When one of your biggest rival, if not your biggest rival, is going to be without their two best players, it's time for you. That opens the door for you to win the division for the first time in a couple of years. The Lightning have to take advantage, and they need to do it early in the season. Munch points, stack as many wins as possible, and then let the chips fall where they may. Dang, it's kind of crazy, man. But good news about Andrei Vasilevsky. Tonight, I will be in the building over at Benchmark International Arena. Some of the big names in the lineup for the Lightning: Braden Point, Oliver Bjorkstrand, Max Crozier, Zemgus Girgensons, Jake Gensel, Jack Finley, Victor Hedman, Lillibert, Kucherov, Gauthier, and Moser. Harrison Menigan and Jonas Johansson will be in goal for the Bolts. And it just seems like the Teemu version of the Carolina Hurricanes. Suzuki, no, not Nick. Slavin, no, not Jacob. Smith, not it's Giovanni, it's not Jamel. Nystrom, not Bobby. Brindamore, not Rod. It's kind of crazy that there's so many last names of other players that are going to be there. And I think some of the biggest names like Kokanyemi's there, Mike Riley, Carrier, Kevin LeBanc. I mean, it's just, you're not looking at a full lineup here when it comes to seeing the normal big guns for the Carolina Hurricanes, which is understandable. The Lightning have done the same thing. They haven't sent a bunch of their big guys on the road either. But at home, I mean, at home you load them up a little bit, see what you got. Load them up and see what you got. But of course, I'll be in the building. Greg DeCruz, is Keith Gretzky playing? No, Brent Gretzky is playing tonight. But yeah, I'll be in the building there at the bench. So hopefully, and no, am I going to do? Nah, I don't think I'll do a Recher's rapid reaction tonight. Maybe, I don't know. It depends on how I'm feeling. But yeah, I'll be in the building for that one. Score predictions for tonight. Dolan's got 27-26 Buccaneers. Benny 69-0. Gronk loves that. Great news about Vasi. You got that right. NFL playoff seeding needs an overhaul. Enough of these manufactured rivalry. I couldn't agree with you more. I believe that's on Channel 66 tonight. I don't know 100%, but you can look at remember, it's TampaBayLightning.com/how-to-watch. Remember, we had our guy Dave Randorf on with us last week, and he revealed that to us. So there you go. What's up, Jay? Fantastic Friday, big weekend for our Bucks. LFG, you got that right, Rob G. Big weekend for the Buccaneers. Greg DeCruz has got Bucks 24, Eagles 21. I tell you what, man. I feel a lot more optimistic about the Bucks going into this weekend. And I don't know why. Because I know there's people out there that are saying, oh, they're playing with house money. It doesn't matter if they lose. Like, you know, to a certain extent, yes, I guess. But, like, win the game. Like, you can win this game. They've got injuries too. And you've played them as good as anybody the last couple of seasons. The Eagles get funky with their offense, man. I don't know why they do what they do, and they just completely forget the plot so quickly sometimes. And I think the Buccaneers have enough to be able to win this game. Yeah, you don't have Evans, you don't have J-Mac, you don't have all the guys that are injured. But like, listen, man, if let's say Evans was hurt in the beginning of the season and just like kind of this was the standard, this is what it was. Malk is out, right? And you just kind of you have the guys that you have. I still think you have enough to win this game. You have enough to win this game. Run the football, play good defense. Play good defense. I don't look at their offensive line. I don't look at their team as a whole and think that they're just going to maul the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, especially if Logan Hall's a big guy. If he can be in there, that helps a ton. Roberts is a really good draft pick out of SMU. I love that kid. Greg Gaines has been making plays all year long in limited time. No issue with that at all. You have Vita Vea. You got Hassan Reddick now, right? You know what we can do in the defensive secondary. That's where I feel really good about this game. The secondary, being able to make plays in front of him. Jamel Dean has had a really good, strong start to the season. Zion McCollum, Parrish, Morrison's getting healthier, right? Morrison, we haven't even seen really Benjamin Morrison at his best. Tyke Smith, Antoine Winfield Jr. The secondary for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, in my opinion, is the most understated thing during this entire kind of back and forth of like trying to look at, all right, which team is better? This tough matchup. Watch out for the Bucs secondary because I think, like I said earlier this week, I think it's going to come down to turnovers. And if you can get opportunistic, Benjamin Morrison, watch out for Benjamin Morrison. Nobody's talking about this kid. Nobody's talking about this guy. And he has an ability to get his hands on the football. So when I look at two guys this week, there's two guys I'm looking at. Benjamin Morrison, Antoine Winfield Jr. One of those two guys, if not both, I think could come away with an interception or a fumble or just a game-changing play. Keep an eye on those two guys. That's who I'm keeping an eye on. All right, college football, huge weekend. Huge. I hate this matchup for Florida State. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I freaking hate it. It's tonight, 7 p.m. on the road. You're a 6.5-point favorite. You got the matchup looming with Miami. This is a game that you're going to learn a lot about Castellanos. This is a game that you're going to learn a lot about Mike Norvell and getting his team prepared. Do not look ahead. I mean, I think the sharp money would be on Virginia, right? 3-1. This is pretty much their whole. You win this game, you might be a top 25 team. The Who's have it right in front of them. Man, I hope Florida State rises to the challenge. I really do. I want to see a big-time primo matchup between Florida State and Miami. Two Sunshine State Titans clash and let's see who's the best. But it's going to take a little bit of the wind out of the sails if they lose tonight to Virginia. I really hope it doesn't happen there in Charlottesville. USC and Illinois. Does Illinois bounce back after the throttling at the hands of Indiana last week? I'm still surprised that they're ranked. I'm surprised Notre Dame's ranked. What happens if they lose to Arkansas, who's coming off a loss to Memphis? Now, they'll probably win that game. So sharp money might be on that matchup right there. LSU and Ole Miss. Brian Kelly heading to Oxford to take on the Rebels. Now, when you're watching this game and you're talking about SEC supremacy, can LSU put up the points? Can LSU, if this game turns into one of those, all right, Nussmeier, you're the vet, you're one of the few returning quarterbacks in college football, like for the top tier teams, what are you going to be able to do against this Ole Miss defense? This is kind of like one of those, all right, you want to be a Heisman Trophy candidate? You want to be considered one of the best teams in the country? We were having this discussion yesterday in the dugout over at UT. Right now, take your guess who's going to win the national championship. And some people would say Oregon, who we'll talk about in a second. Some people will say Ohio State. I think Miami is just a tough. I think people get jaded here in the Sunshine State because you either love Miami or you hate Miami because you're a Florida State fan. But me, as a guy that didn't live up down here, I just trust what my eyes tell me. Miami's one of the best teams easily this year. And I just like how they're built. We can't say, all right, hey, the recipe for success in the sport of football is won and lost in the trenches, and then look at Miami and think, wow, it makes sense. Like, it makes sense why they're as good as they are. So I can't count them out. But LSU, you go into Oxford and you win this game. This is such a huge game on so many levels for them. To be able to win, and regardless of the rankings, Ole Miss is 13th. They are one of the best teams in the country, no doubt about it. Mississippi is a 1.5 favorite, but less than 3 points at home. That tells you all you need to know. But this is another statement victory. We talked about the week 1 win over Clemson. This would be another statement victory for Brian Kelly and Nussmeier and this crew, because you win this game and it's like, all right, maybe we should be talking about you. It's not a fluke. Maybe you should be considered one of the best teams in the country. I want to see teams rise to the challenge. I want to see teams win tough road games. Indiana, this is a little bit of a trap game too. You smoke Illinois, and now you go to Iowa, and you know what kind of game that is going to be. They're going to try to drag it out. They're going to run the football. They're going to try to make it a low-scoring game. Who is going to be able to impose their will on who? Oregon and Penn State, and then Alabama and Georgia. First, Alabama and Georgia. I think I would take Georgia. They're a 2.5-point favorite here. I think that they're much better than Alabama. I really do. I think this is one of those games where it just starts kind of the downfall a little bit. We went over the schedule earlier this week with Alabama, but this is an opportunity for Alabama to shut me and a lot of other people up. No, we're not going anywhere. We're staying right here. Kalen DeBoer can be the guy to lead this team back towards the top of the Southeastern Conference, but I have too much faith in what Kirby Smart has built. I feel like 2.5 points. I'm surprised it's that low, to be honest with you. Penn State and Oregon. You're looking at the tickets for this game. Tickets as low as $543. This is a hot ticket. A hot ticket there at State College. The number 3 team in the country, the Penn State Nittany Lions, welcome in the number 6 Oregon Ducks. This is my favorite game of the weekend. And for so many out there, when you're looking at the Oregon Ducks, I feel like you don't give them as much credit because they're on the West Coast. But there's something different just about this entire group where Dan Lanning is a guy that is not afraid to plant his flag in the ground and to just, we're here. He's not just like sheepishly. He's not like a mild guy where it's still weird seeing Oregon not in the Pac-10 or the Pac-12 and seeing them in the Big Ten, right? But Dan Lanning isn't here just like, oh, we're kind of happy to be here. And I kind of compare them to what we saw with Boise State years ago and what we saw with like Gonzaga in basketball, where Chris Peterson in Boise and Mark Few for all those years in Gonzaga, like quieter guys, humble guys, like, just, fighting from underneath to, borrow a term from other sports. And just, it's kind of maybe a little bit aloof and meek and unassuming, right? Dan Lanning's not like that, man. He's here. He's ready to fight anybody and everybody. And I think the team year in and year out takes on the personality of him. And if you tell me that I got to pick between 2 coaches in Dan Lanning or James Franklin, listen, Penn State is one of those teams that I've said it from the beginning. The expanded college football playoff helps Penn State probably as much as any other team in the country, because every year they could have a freaking dynamite season, but they lose to Ohio State or they would lose to Michigan. And then that's it. And then they would be on the outside looking in. And then one of those 2 teams would represent the Big Ten and whatever, the BCS or college football playoff. But now that it's expanded, Penn State can be really, really good and still lose a game and be able to get in there and do some damage. Now, this year, you're looking at James Franklin. You're bringing back Drew Aller, who is he's kind of like Garrett Nussmeier, one of the few quarterbacks returning to one of these top 25 teams. But I'm just not sold. I'm not sold on Drew Aller as being a guy that really okay, that's the type of guy that's going to win a national championship. I mean, when you look at the sophomore that Oregon has in there, and Dante Moore, he's already thrown for 960 yards and 11 touchdowns. He's just a sophomore. He's 6'3" out of Michigan. Like, this is a kid that, man, he just jumps off the page. He could be an absolute problem. Now, when you look at Oregon and you look at Penn State, man, again, Penn State being the favorite, I'm taking Oregon in this game. I really am. I think they win, and then they're in contention. You start looking at, all right, Miami and Ohio State and LSU, who they'd have to be ranked higher than LSU, right? Let's say Oregon wins on the road against number 3 Penn State. LSU wins on the road to number 13 Ole Miss. Oregon's obviously 6. LSU's 4. What's the top 5 on Monday? Right? It would Ohio State, Miami, Oregon, or do you slide LSU up, right? I mean, that's tough, man. That's a tough call. I think both road. I'm not going to put money on LSU. No, sir. Not going to do it. But with that being said, I wouldn't be surprised if they won. No doubt about it. Let's see. I'm going to get some of these college football stuff. Yep, I just had Bama versus Georgia. You got that right. That's in there. Virginia does have a lot of injuries. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, I think that definitely works in Florida State's favor, but sometimes the injuries can be the rallying cries too, right? That's the part that worries me a little bit is if you just look at the injury report. I mean, we can't look at the Buccaneers game and be like, yeah, screw the injury report, and then say it matters in other games, right? Adam Cartwright, Harold Perkins Jr. can be a huge problem for Ole Miss and anyone, right? Penn State hasn't beaten Ohio State the way Vanderbilt was beating UF during Franklin's tenure. That's right. So you never know, man. That's the beautiful thing about football, whether it's on the pro side or the college side. You just never know. You got to be able to go out there and to be able to take care of business. Because as much as we have our predictions and we think one thing is more important than the other, right? Some people may think home field advantage is more important. Some people think the injuries and the guys who aren't in there. Some people may think experience is more important. Regardless of what we think, they still have to go out there and play the game. And then we find out what happens. So exciting. It's an exciting week of football. I'll be tuned in, no doubt. I got baseball tomorrow early, 8:30 out there in Plant City with the USA Scout Hit Factory 15-year-olds. It's our first tournament out there in Plant City, so wish us luck there. Back out with the 13s the week after that, and then back out with the 18s the week after that. It does not end for your boy. If I'm not at games, I'm at games. If I'm not at games, I'm at games. It just never ends, man. But I'm getting the old school farmer tan back. You should see my feet, my calf and my ankles, dark. I look Dominican. My feet, white as hell. Pretty freaking crazy. All right, so let's get to some of your comments here. Again, questions, comments, concerns. You want to talk about the Bucs and your prediction this weekend. Rob, 24-21. I feel this game is yet another last-minute field goal. Hate saying that, Jay. I hate that saying, Jay. They're playing at home and upcoming schedule is brutal. Just got to win. Both Seahawks and Niners get 10 days off before they play a Bucs. We always seem to deal with that every single year. Keep Hurts in the pocket. We got Reddick for a reason. Front four pressure with some good time blitzing. Stop the runner, minimize, and keep everything in front of you. McCollum gets an INT. I like that one. Bucs can win if they use Godwin, Ibuka, Irving, White, Shepard, and Miller correctly. Quick, fast, greasy, lightning fast passes to all these guys. Run with all 3 RBs, and we'll see which linebackers will be in or out for Philadelphia with Bond and Jahad Campbell. And this is the thing. As much as we would love Jahad Campbell, one of the concerns drafting him out of college there was injuries. Would he be ready? So we'll see. Nathan Elliott, if the Bucs can limit A.J. Brown, so the rundown, they win. No doubt about that. Let's see. And then you're right, man. Rival games, you can never count out. This could make their season. You're right. You just never know. We talk about some teams playing for college football championships, so other teams playing for national championships. And, I mean, others like, hey, man, this could be it. This could be it. That's why I'm a believer in like moral victories and silver linings and like, right? Like sometimes it happens. Like not everybody, Virginia's not battling for a national championship. So I guess it's not just a moral victory if you beat Florida State this weekend, but it is like an actual victory. But sometimes when you're on the climb, you have to denote positivity and optimism and things happening in your favor, and then take pieces of that to build forward. That's to each their own. Washington Commanders have announced about 10 minutes ago that Jaden Daniels has been ruled out for the game this weekend. Marcus Mariota will start for the team. We spoke about this yesterday, and it's so funny. This is why Dr. Rodriguez is on top of it. When he started talking about the Jaden Daniels injury, he was saying that he thought it would take another week for him to be okay. But from what we were hearing from Washington, it seemed like he was going to be able to try to like gut it out. But if you remember what he had to say, he was saying, and I'm listening to him, and he's like, yeah, he should probably sit out another week. He didn't say it like that, but that's what I gleaned from it, that he's coming back probably a week earlier than most people would. Damn, Doc, you're all over it, buddy. Doc is killing it, man. Dr. Carlos Rodriguez is going to be joining us every Thursday at 12:30 on the program. Please don't miss that segment. My man crushes it. Adam Cartwright, I want to answer your question here. Who is your AL MVP? You're asking a kid that grew up in New York, that grew up a Yankee fan, who he thinks is going to be the AL MVP. And I am going to be completely honest with you. The best player in the American League is Aaron Judge. The American League most valuable player for the 2025 season is Cal Raleigh. That's the way it goes. It's not player of the year. It's not like college basketball where it's player of the year, right? It's not the Heisman Trophy. It's not. It's the most valuable player. And if that's the way that they're going to go about it, you have to take into account how great a player is and how valuable he is. And that's just the way, that's kind of the conundrum of everything. Now, if Aaron Judge gets it, I don't think it's a robbery. I don't think it's wrong. If you think that it's Aaron Judge because you think he's the best player and that's how you judge the MVP, that's your prerogative. That's open for interpretation. It's just the way it goes. But for me, when we're talking about MVP, I think it's Cal Raleigh. The position that he plays, the fact that he didn't miss any time. Judge missed a little bit, but he came right back, dealing with that arm injury and leading them to a division crown, right? Like Seattle. Yankees make it pretty much every year. Judge has done it before. There is going to be natural voter fatigue, whether that's right or wrong. But that's why I think Cal's going to win it, not why I think he should win it. Me, has nothing to do with voter fatigue. I think it's lame. I just feel like you have a guy that's hitting 60 home runs, that is handling the starting rotation. There's a lot of things that Cal Raleigh does as a catcher. And some of the metrics thinks he's good. I saw a couple of rough games from him this year behind the plate. I probably, because every time I read and I watch like the defensive metrics on this guy, everybody's like, oh, he's this good. He's sixth best in the league and blah, blah. And it's just weird. It was one game against the Rays and one game is against the Yankees. And I'm like, this guy's a good catcher. I probably saw his two worst games of the year, unfortunately for him. But that's the difference between, in my opinion, the MVP and the player of the year. If it was player of the year, it'd be Aaron Judge. Just because the offensive production is outstanding top to bottom. But most valuable player to his team and to his success, to me, it's Cal Raleigh. So you got that. Oh, look at that. Connor's Music Company. I think the media is sleeping on the Bucs CB room. No doubt about it. Dean has been a pleasant surprise this year. Zion, Parrish, BMO is great hands. Like you said, watch out. Yeah, Connor. I mean, if you're going to put money on guys with an interception this weekend, put $5 on every guy in the Buccaneers secondary. Why the hell not, right? Oh, man, another one of our absolute stars here on the program. Our guy Chan, as I understand, today's Friday night has been raptured, so we've got that going for all of us. Go Knowles. $10 with the super chat. Chan, thank you so much. You and David Terry with the super chats today. Guys, everything you can do. $1, $5, $10, $20, whatever you guys can do. Every little bit helps. Thank you so much, Chan, for being a big time supporter of the program. Todd just got their number. Lady Evil says, I think we'll win 26-23. I hope we can stay healthy. Greg the Cruz, can you raise? Please take the gas pipe this weekend. Jay's going to give me heart pains right now up until the time the Bucks kick off. He says he's old. He can't take any more of this. You got that right, buddy. Just stay healthy. 60 home runs. You got that right, fellas. All right, Ryder Cup action today. The big reason why I'm wearing the red, white, and the blue. I mean, dude, what is going on? What is going on with our guys? An absolute shellacking as the U.S. is in an early hole there at the Ryder Cup. I mean, you lose 3 of the 4 matches. And we were having this discussion earlier this week about who the partner for Bryson DeChambeau was going to be. Well, we find out that the pairing was Justin Thomas, and it did not work out at all. Scotty Scheffler did not do well either. Why can't you just give me the scores here? Why is it so hard? Come on, folks. I'm trying to see Friday morning foursomes. Okay, just looking for the exact numbers for you. So Tyrrell Hatton and John Rahm 4 and 3. So for people that don't know, like I'm going to explain it. So when they say like they won 4 and 3, I don't know if you know. Fine, I'm not trying to speak over you. I'm just trying to. If you're not big into golf, 4 and 3 means you're up by 4 holes with only 3 holes remaining. So USA jumped out to a first hole lead. They were up 1 all the way into the 7th hole. And Europe tied it up there. And then they won the 8th, 12th, 13th. And then when they won the 15th, they were up 4 and there was only 3 holes left. So that's why when they say 4 and 3, that's what happens there. Matty Fitzpatrick and Ludwig Oberg, they won 5 and 3 over Russell Henley and Scotty Scheffler. Scotty again struggling in that morning matchup. The absolute beatdown of the day was Rory McIlroy and Tommy Fleetwood. Fleetwood Mac, which is a really good team name for them. They win 5 and 4 over Harris English and Colin Morikawa. And then the lone victory of the day came in the final pairing. Patrick Cantlay and Xander Schauffele, they win 2 up over Bobby Mack, Robert McIntyre, and Victor Hovland. A really good match because the USA was 3 up going into the 12th hole, and then McIntyre, Hovland win 3 of the next 4. So they were even for the 16th hole, and then US were able to win the last 2. 2 up, meaning they won the last hole, and they were up 2. So there's no like 2 and 1 or anything like that as far as that aspect goes, because they were 1 up going into the last one. They won the last hole 2 up. So there you go. And now we are looking at the 4 balls instead of the foursomes. And Scotty Scheffler and JJ Spawn, the U.S. Open winner, they are now up. They won the first hole over Sepp Straka and John Rahm, so a little bit of a change there. Justin Rose enters into the competition. He's teeing off right now with Tommy Fleetwood against Bryson DeChambeau and Ben Griffin. That is who Bob Harrick thought that Bryson was going to play with to start the day, but he plays with him in the afternoon. Rasmus Højgaard and Ludwig Oberg take on Justin Thomas and Cam Young. And then Rory McIlroy and his pal Shane Lowry take on Patrick Cantlay and our guy, former Valspar championship winner Sammy Burns. So hopefully the U.S. can get back into the Ryder Cup here. Bethpage Black in Farmingdale, New York, which is about 20 minutes from my parents' house. You can check it out on NBC USA and Peacock. Go USA, go. And listen, this is usually the home team has a big time advantage, but we're seeing with the European squad, and you're looking at the guys that they keep rolling out there, some of our most favorite players to watch. I mean, Victor Hovland, who won the Valspar this past year, and Rory, who a lot of people think is the best player of this generation, and probably the best player this year, with Scotty Scheffler, of course, the best American. But this is where Scotty, it's a different format altogether. So it's kind of tough to hold it against the guy if he's not good in cup competitions. It's completely different. You're playing in this team format. I don't know if it really matters as far as a guy's legacy per se, right? Wow, he sucked in cup competition. It's like, all right, well, if he won more majors than anybody during his generation, does that matter? Like, I don't know. I don't really know. It helps. I don't know if it really hurts. I think it's more of kind of like it's like it's a really fun exhibition, which means a lot. I'm not taking anything away from it. It means a lot to these guys to represent their country. But if a guy doesn't do well in comp, does anybody know how well Tiger's done? Yeah, like you may remember it if you're a diehard fan, but when you think about the legacy of Tiger Woods, you're thinking about all the things that he did in the majors, not necessarily what he did during Ryder Cups, right? I want to see Tiger out there, though. I want to see him involved. Like, I think she should be involved every year. I think it's kind of weird when you have a captain of, a guy's a captain for the Ryder Cup that's still playing. Like, Keegan Bradley shouldn't even have been in that situation where he had to decide whether he was playing or not. Like, dude, like, he should be playing. He should be playing. No doubt. Yeah, it's just. But now he's on the outside and he's just watching, and it's like, man, like, you should be out there, buddy. I want to see him out there, and let somebody else be the captain. Like, why isn't Tiger a captain? Phil's a captain, and I know the rules, and I know about the captaincy and stuff, but like, there's plenty of good older American golfers that have been there, and like, Keegan could be a captain when he's done playing. It's weird. It's weird that they have gotten to a situation where like you have to decide whether or not you're playing, right? I don't get it. Are there any sports you don't cover? You are one of one. Thank you, buddy. Thank you. Yeah, I'm a little bit of everything when it comes to the golf. I love it. I love sporting competitions like this. I love the unique things about sports. I'm never going to be one of those people where it's like, you're ruining the history of the game. Oh, the sanctity of the game. Oh, screw that, man. At the end of the day, and trust me, I've been very fortunate to get paid for the last, decade more to give my opinions on sports. I don't take that for granted. But when people are out there and they complain about like, wow, what Logan and Jake Paul are doing is bad for the sport of boxing. Like, who cares? They've been doing what they've been doing for years now. We just saw Canelo and Crawford fight. It was one of the best fights we've seen in a while. Just because they were doing what they were doing doesn't mean that Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury didn't have a trilogy of great fights, right? Like, who cares? We watch sports for the entertainment value, man. It's fun. We love it, man. We spend time with our family. We go on trips. It's crazy. The sanctity of the sport. You're ruining the history. You're making a mockery of the sport. Get real. Get real. I love international competitions, World Cups. I mean, I love soccer, but World Cups, Olympics, Ryder Cups, anything like this. Davis Cup. I love it all. Give me all of it. I like different. I like seeing guys in different settings. I love all-star games and like all-star games, the guys try. That's the one thing about the Ryder Cup that we look at these other competitions. If you're going to give effort, I'll give you effort. If you give effort in your game, I will give effort in watching it and talking about it. No doubt. But if you're going to half-ass it, then it's like, Greg DeCruz, cricket. Listen. I will watch me some cricket now, and I will watch rugby, and I'll watch some Australian rules football. I don't necessarily know the rules, but I'll be into it. And I've always wanted to get up there and take a hack with cricket because I've seen some of my baseball buddies do it, and it's tough, but you can do it. And there are certain places around, and I know here in the Tampa area, and I remember in Queens when I was growing up in New York, there are hundreds of people out there. And I had a good friend of mine he was in this big, there was a rivalry in Queens with all the Indians and all the Pakistanis. And they would go at it playing cricket there in one of these parks in Queens. And I remember driving because I was playing softball in Queens on Saturday mornings. And I would drive by there and there would be hundreds of people out there playing cricket. And it wasn't just the people playing. It was the families. It was sick. I love that atmosphere. Really, really cool stuff, man. So, again, anytime cricket or any of these other sports on, I'm definitely taking a gander, no doubt. Tampa Bay Jay and all the Recher watchers. Tailgate starts at 9:30. Go check them out. Those games take days to play. I know. I like that too. I like the little nuances and the idiosyncrasies of stuff like that. All right. Before we talk about what Todd Bowles had to say at the Advent Health Training Center at One Buc Place, let's talk about our good friends, and we'll start at the top with our friends over at Honest Hammer. Listen, if you need work done, residential, commercial, my friends can take care of you. The Honest Hammer. Check out this website, baby. Everywhere. 813-244-0956. Tell them that you heard it right here on the Jay Recher podcast. They'll take care of you. Honest Hammer, Custom Builders, LLC, General Contractor Company, CGC. 153-116, thehonesthammer@gmail.com. Go to thehonesthammer.com. Listen, like I said, residential, commercial needs. Look at the new build here. If you have a plot of land and you want a new custom home, Russ can take care of you. He's one of those people that's going to be able to answer all your questions. He's a really easy guy to talk to, and he's trustworthy. Trust me. I wouldn't work with somebody. I wouldn't partner with somebody like that I didn't trust, and Russ is the man. He is the coolest dude ever. Bathroom remodels, kitchen remodels, new and commercial construction, interior and structural renovations. Again, I just mentioned the new custom home. They can take care of you. Again, 813-244-0956. If you just have a question because you don't really trust what a contractor is telling you, give him a shout. He'll be able to help you out. He'll lead you in the right direction. 813-244-0956. Our great friends over at Honest Hammer Custom Builders, LLC. Our other partner on the program is our new friends over at Evra Health. And my goodness, when you look at the website, there is just so many different things that they have to offer. I will actually be over there next Tuesday. Check out this website that they have here for all of your healthcare needs. everhealth.org. You can schedule an appointment, find a location, all the different languages. And if you want to just scroll down and see everything that they're all about, they're very, very descriptive when it comes to your medicine for your family, your primary care, pediatrics, dental. Everything is done right there on the campus there. They have a pharmacy there, so you don't have to go when you get your prescription on something. You can stay there, go get it. If you're not feeling great, 727-824-8181. Patients Inspiring Stories of Hope. They have all the different things there. The locations, pictures of people smiling. You can't beat it. Again, 727-824-8181. Looking at some of these services too. I know chiropractic was another thing. Chiropractic care, relief for your neck, back, and joint pain. There's a lot of people. Dr. Withrow there, Dr. Gottschalk there. It's these guys and gals. I can't wait to meet everybody. Let's go to sports medicine. Ever Sports Medicine. Look at all these different things. Their services. Dr. Prasad, Dr. Marshall, and there's our guy right there, Dr. Carlos Rodriguez, the Assistant Director of Family Medicine, Sports Medicine. Our guy, Carlos Rodriguez, the doc, joins us every Thursday at 12:30 here on the program. You got to love it. Our friends over at Evra Health. Again, everhealth.org. All right. Here we go. Any questions, comments, concerns about the games this weekend? Any questions for me? I need some ping pong picks on Hard Rock. I played a ton of ping pong in my day. My dad used to wake me up in the morning at 5 a.m. before school to play ping pong. And me and my friends played. And then I really took my game to the next level. So I went to SUNY Oswego, and there was a kid. I was the second best ping pong player in the entire dorm that I lived in college. The first was this kid by the name of Adam Lee. And Adam Lee was a bad dude when it came to ping pong. He was absolutely incredible. And we played and we played and we played. Eventually, I passed him and I got better than him. And it wasn't because of like being a better ball striker or a better defender. Like I just started like picking up on some of the things that he did. I started when I was a tennis player, because I played tennis in junior high. I was a guy that I played the game. Like I wasn't trying to just rip the ball. I was drop shots and all these slices and get you off balance. And that's the kind of thing I kind of incorporated that. Once I got into his rhythm, I started understanding what shots kind of threw him off and kind of, played into some of the things that bothered him. I miss playing ping pong. I used to play a ton. If you were to pick one player to have a big game or to make a big play on Sunday, who is the player you're watching? I mean, I think it's the two guys I said before, Benjamin Morrison and Antoine Winfield Jr. I just feel like the best players rise to the occasion. So under the radar, Benjamin Morrison, the obvious answer probably Antoine Winfield Jr. I think this game is going to come down to a turnover. I think it's going to be a close game. I'll give you my predictions now. I for some reason I do think the Bucks win this game. I think there may be more points than we think. Maybe it's like a 30-29 game, a 31-30 game like that. Because there are some talented offensive players, but man, I'm big time. Tyke Smith and Kate Otten. Yeah. I need Yaya to play a career game Sunday. They'll need it. Yeah, I mean, what Yaya was able to do last week, picking up the sack. I know people love the pressures, but it's got to lead to sacks. Looking at Tyke, yeah, that's a great answer. Kate Otten, I just want to tell everybody this. Don't look at Kate Otten like he's a failure or anything's bad. He's doing everything, being so selfless, helping out, blocking. He's going to continue to do that. That's not going to stop, even though the offensive line is where it is. Because remember, we still don't have Luke Gedeke in there, right? It's going to be Charlie Heck on the right side. It's going to be Haggard or somebody at the guard spot. And that's assuming that Tristan comes back, and it'll be Tristan Bredesen and Graham Barton, which I think it will be. All right, Todd Bowles spoke a little bit earlier at One Buc Place. Here is what Todd had to say about everything. Coach Todd Bowles says that Chris Godwin and Tristan Wirfs will both be listed as questionable for Sunday versus the Eagles, as will Baker Mayfield, but all trending in the right direction. Beautiful. Only Buccaneers players ruled out for Sunday: Mike Evans and Christian Izien. Logan Hall was able to practice today and is in play for Sunday. So really, really good stuff there. And that's kind of the big things that we heard from Todd today. I don't know about you guys, but the last couple of I just feel better just noticing what is going on with the players coming back due to injury, seeing a guy like Chris Godwin and Tristan Wirfs. Again, we have to temper our expectations a little bit. I think with Chris, right? I don't think that Chris is coming out there and he's going to play a bunch of snaps. Now, it doesn't mean he's not going to have a good game. I'll never say that. But just don't expect him to be out there for a high percentage of snaps. It's just they're going to ease him back into it. You can do that with the wide receiver position. There's certain positions that you can, and nobody knows this better than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, right? Nobody knows it better than them. So just temper the expectations a little bit. Understand where we're at. Understand that when you're at a position like the wide receiver spot, it's like the defensive line, right? Cornerback. Sometimes you can kind of rotate certain spots. You're not doing that on the offensive line. You're not doing that with Tristan Wirfs. If Wirfs is playing, he's in there. No doubt about it. Pick six from Parrish coming soon. Dave Velasquez. I think there's a good chance of that happening. Losing Cole Keith will hurt, but I expect to see more outside running. We'll see. If you listen to what we were having the conversation with Josh Capel on Wednesday about the gap running scheme. I mean, now Kate Otten could be in that spot. You could see more Payne Durham. Hassan coming for revenge. I don't know if he needs revenge for a team that he played and had some good time. I didn't get that long-term contract. But, yeah, I mean, we thought we were going to see Hassan coming for revenge last year against the Jets because he didn't have the greatest time. So we'll see. Losing Keith sucks, but it makes you worry more about special teams. He was big in field goal blocking, got hurt right before the block. Yes, that's another thing. I'm glad you brought that up. So when you watch this team, special teams has to get better. And we saw the missed kick, or we saw the block kick, right? And we saw them block a kick themselves in the win over the Rams. Poor Ian has his eye recovered from Wednesday's hot sauce incident. You know what? Can we FaceTime him? Does he ever do FaceTime? I don't know. I don't know if Ian's ever even done FaceTime before. This one, come on. This guy doesn't, you don't allow him with FaceTime? Let's see if he picks up. We're calling Ian right now. Ian Beckles. Let's see if he picks up the call. Poor Ian. Oh, wait, no. I don't think he's going to pick up. Come on, Beck. Come on. You can't just call him, which is weird. I'm just seeing if I could call him. This is so strange. Ian Beckles. You can't just video. I did not know that. Like he's got an iPhone. So you can't FaceTime people. Like there's certain people you can't FaceTime. You have to like get them. You have to send a link. That's weird. He's probably thinking I'm just like, what's going on? Never mind. I tried, Greg. That's weird. I've never known that about iPhones. There's certain people that you can't FaceTime. You have to just send them a link and then they have the option to add. Very, very strange. I hope he's recovered. But special teams. The Buccaneer, again, it comes down to he did not block me. No way. It comes down to if it comes down to special teams, that is a little bit of a concern. It really is. Because we've seen it the last couple of weeks, right? And it's the little things, just the little things. You don't want to get into a situation where you're losing this game because you missed a kick or because a kick gets blocked or because you give up a big return. And we've seen that. So that's one of the things that the Buccaneers have to shore up. If the Buccaneers lose this game, don't be surprised if one of the reasons is because they were unable to execute on special teams. That's what it comes down to. All right, let's take a look at the rest of the slate in the NFL. And if it's not Bucs-Eagles, what's the best game this weekend? If it's not Bucs-Eagles, what is the best game this weekend? Jaden Daniels out, Marcus Mariota in for Washington in Atlanta against the Falcons. We are all pulling for the Commanders in that one. Pittsburgh hosting Minnesota, 9:30 out there in Dublin at Croke Park in Ireland. Buffalo at home against New Orleans. Detroit hosting Cleveland. Don't doubt Myles Garrett and the way that he can influence a game. Don't be surprised that that one's closer than you think. New England hosts Carolina. The Giants host the Chargers. Houston hosts Tennessee. The Rams. Okay, the Rams and the Colts. Right? Colts going cross country. Let's see if they're for real as they take on Sean McVay and the Rams. All right. San Francisco hosts Jacksonville. Of course, Jacksonville now 2-1. Liam Cohen talking all that smack going up against the 3-0 Niners. I mean, Kansas City, Baltimore is going to be a good one. 2-1-2 teams. 4:25 start on CBS over there at Arrowhead in Kansas City. Sunday Night Football, Green Bay in Dallas to take on the Cowboys. Micah Parsons returns to the Lone Star State. The Raiders host the Bears. I mean, it's hard to think that. And then a double dip on Monday night. Miami hosts the Jets and the Broncos host the Bengals. I mean, Dallas, Green Bay, even though it's Dallas, it's a pain in the ass. I mean, seeing Micah Parsons go home is gonna. We'll see what kind of impact that he has. And then Baltimore, Kansas City, in my opinion, regardless of what their record is, and Baltimore is a 2.5-point favorite, mind you, on the road in Kansas City. One of these teams is going to be 1-3. Think about that. One of those teams, Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, or Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. One of those two teams are going to be 1-3. And yeah, you can give me there might be a tie. Well, I don't think there's going to be a tie. One of those teams is going to be 1-3. I think it's going to be Kansas City. I really do. I wouldn't be surprised if Kansas City doesn't make the playoffs this year. It's going to be a steep climb. They're messing in the wrong division. You don't want to mess around and get too far behind. Connor says it right here. Can't believe one of those teams will be 1-3. I'm with you, Lady Evil. I think that might be the best game. Chan says Colts, Rams. Yeah, well, we'll find out. We'll find out who the real deal Holyfield is. Jordan Love or Bo Nix, Janet? Good question. I'm going to go Jordan Love, and here's why. Experience winning in Dallas. They beat them in the playoffs, and this defense that they have now does not have Micah Parsons on it. So I would go with Jordan Love. I think he has a big game Sunday night for the Pack. Miami Jets on Monday Night Football is like watching Thursday football 2 years ago. Yes. Awful, man. Nobody wants to watch that game. Nobody wants to watch that game. No doubt about it. All right. Other big news around the league. Let's give you guys another update. Hold on. I'd play anyone versus Dallas right now. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns about the games this weekend, about me, and also fantasy football, get them in. We're going to be on for about another 5-10 minutes. Questions, comments, concerns, put them there at the bottom if you want to join in via the chat. Here's the link, the video chat. StreamYard.com/VPTKCJ9P. Oh, it's got my name in there. That's pretty cool. Just click on the link right there, whether you're on your laptop, whether you're on your phone. Let's see what else we got going on this weekend on the soccer side. Bayern Munich playing at 2:30 today. Marseille. All right, tomorrow, Saturday, soccer action. I'll give you the goose game. Manchester United, 7:30 tomorrow morning. Heading to the G-Tech to take on Brentford. Brentford's lost so many guys. Brian and Mbumo, they lost Wisa. They lost their head coach, Thomas Frank, to Spurs. I still don't feel comfortable. Crystal Palace, Liverpool from Selhurst Park. Keep an eye on that one. City, Burnley, Forest, Sunderland, Tottenham, and Wolverhampton, the Wanderers. There's a good one. 10:15 in La Liga. Atletico Madrid against Real Madrid. The Madrid Derby. That's a good one right there. So you're going to watch a game on ESPN Plus, ESPN Deportes in Madrid, Atleti and Real Madrid. Check that one out. No doubt about it. That's going to be bad-ass. Juventus against Atalanta on Saturday. Let's see what else. How about our USL Championship? Our guys. They're playing Sunday this week. That's right. The Rowdies play on Sunday, which is rare. They usually play on Saturdays. Sunday, Newcastle and Arsenal from St. James Park. All right. That's going to be a decent one. Barcelona, Real Sociedad. Serie A. AC Milan and Napoli at 2:45 on Sunday on Paramount Plus. Napoli with Kevin De Bruyne, Scott McTominay. Got a lot of former players from the Premier League against AC Milan and Christian Pulisic. Really, really good game there. And then Tampa Bay against Loudoun United, 5 o'clock from Virginia. The Rowdies trying to scratch and claw and find any way to be able to make it to the playoffs. And then, of course, our Rays finish out their season. It's been a long season. They've got 3 left in Toronto against the Blue Jays. Ironically enough, if the Rays play well down the stretch, they'd actually be helping the Yankees, which is kind of weird to say. Adrian Hauser on the bump for the Rays tonight. Shane Bieber. Yes, Shane Bieber on the mound for the Blue Jays. And, man, if Toronto can get it right, you got some veteran pitching with their team. That could be one of those under-the-radar type teams that nobody's really talking about. Fantasy question, I had to swap Evans for Sterling this week. How screwed am I? Yeah, you got to look for somebody else, Chan. Sterling's going to be in there. He's going to get his, but he's like he's a 4-catch guy. That 4 catches could be 28 yards. It could be 70 yards and a touchdown. We don't know, but that is a big, big disparity. Did the Eagles practice today, or is it today the day they're traveling? Where if they have a small practice tomorrow, the day before the game? Damn, that was one thing that I mentioned. I forgot to ask the doc. We will ask him next week. I forgot. Damn, that sucks. St. Pauli and Bayer Leverkusen tomorrow at 9:30. When does Grimsby play? Too soon. Greg, do you find it difficult not to root for your teams, even though you're a journalist? I imagine it gets tough at times. Great question. I'll finish the show off with this. When I started, because mind you, and people ask me, because I have a cousin that lives up in Pennsylvania, and he's always like trying to talk shit to me, like, oh, the Eagles this or the Phillies this, and your team suck. And I'm just like, it's totally different when you get into the media side. You're not a fan anymore. So, like, I don't know if I consider myself a Lightning fan or a Bucks fan or a Rays fan or like those 3 teams. Like, I cover them. So I wouldn't say I'm a fan. Do I support them? Yes. Do I want to see them win? Yes, of course. But I'm not a fan. I'm just not. The Rowdies, it's a little different. USF, in my mind, it's maybe not. Rowdies, I look at it a little bit different because there's just not as many people that cover them. And I feel like they need the support. They need the fans a little bit more. But I still cover them in the media aspect. So, again, soccer is a little bit different. I am a fan of Manchester United. I'm a fan. Other than that, man, I wouldn't really consider myself a fan because kind of it is what it is, right? I want to see teams do well. Just because I don't necessarily consider myself a Lightning fan doesn't mean when they lost that game in Game 4 last year, when they were up 2-1, all of a sudden they're down 3-2, that my heart wasn't on the floor. It sucked, dude. It sucked so bad. It was tough early on because before, and again, it's almost like you have to build it up, right? Early on, when I first started working here and still having a lot of my allegiances to the New York teams, I remember going to an Anton Strawman press conference and they were like, "Oh, have you gotten over losing in the Stanley Cup final to the LA Kings?" And I'm like, "I haven't gotten over it. So how the hell did he?" I remember one of the first games I covered, one of the first playoff games I covered, it was Rangers Lightning. And I'm looking around like, what the hell, man? It was very strange. Very strange. It's just the way it goes, man, when you're a sports fan. But for me, like, it's different. It's a different ball of wax now because I'm not a fan. And I've been covering these sports and covering all these different games and events. Just kind of is what it is, man. It is what it is. I look, I just enjoy it. I enjoy it. At the end of the day, I still have to do my job. I don't get too invested into it because when you're around the guys a lot, you also realize that like there is a segment between the media and the players. They're not always great to us. They have bad moments. Not even like they're mean. It's just, they're emotional too. And you have to be very careful. And you can't go into the locker room really happy or really sad. Like you just you have to understand the environment, kind of do your job. But there's also being a fan, like the players and the teams are really good to you. Not saying they're not good to us, but they're good to us because we have a job to do. Not good to us because like they're being nice to you as a fan. Like you see all these people and how grateful and they'll spend time with them. But for us, like it's hard for them not to think that we're spending time with them for a reason, right? So it's different. Like you want to see the people do well because of the guys that you meet rather than the players. If that makes any sense. I'd rather see the people do good than the players. Sorry, that was kind of a roundabout way of asking it, but it's just different, man. Times change and people change, and you just kind of look. You don't want to. My dad said my dad used to get really upset about games, like it would affect his whole day, and he's like, "These people don't even know me. Why am I getting so pissed off?" And it just kind of put things in perspective for me. It's like, I still Manchester United, like that's my bugaboo. If they lose, I get pissed and it ruins my day. Like if they lose tomorrow to Brentford, I'm going to be pissed during the baseball game that I'm coaching. I'll get over it, but when I'm driving home, I'm like, I'll be pissed. I think it's just kind of important, I guess, to keep things in perspective. With that being said, I want everybody to go crazy this weekend. Support your Buccaneers. USF is off. They'll be back next weekend, next Friday night. That should be very fun. That's going to wrap it up for me. I hope everybody has a fantastic weekend. Safe, happy, healthy. Follow me on all social media platforms. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram. I'm everywhere. Like and subscribe on YouTube as well. Make sure you look up all the videos that I've got out there because, yeah, man, we're just continuing to grow. A big thank you to our super chats today, David, Terry, and Chan. You guys are the best. I cannot do this without you guys. Thank you so freaking much. And, of course, thank you to our partners, Honest Hammer Custom Builders and Evra Health. Go Bucks, go Rowdies, go everybody. Go Rays, finish the season strong. Everybody have a wonderful weekend. Go USA Scout and Hit Factory. We'll see you guys on Monday. Hopefully a victory Monday right here on the Jay Recher Podcast.